This is going to be Ion Tucson with a focus on graffiti. And usually these shows have a sign language interpreter. Well, in this particular case, their interpreter is sick. So let's see how that turns out. Take it away.
Good evening and welcome to Public Access 13. My name is Reginald Baxworth, and this is Ion Tucson. Well, we usually have a sign language interpreter for the hearing impaired, but today there was a writer's strike and he has two jobs because we don't pay very well. And so we got a replacement. Come on, Fred. Fred will be continuing to sign for us for the rest of the show. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Martha Johansson, who is here to talk to us today. What was it you were talking to us today about?
I'd like to talk to you about the graffiti problem we have in Tucson and how to solve it.
Yes, graffiti. Ghastly. So, what do you say about those who claim that graffiti is really art?
It's funny you should say that because that's exactly where I was going to start off. There are many people who believe that graffiti artists are actually artists. But in fact, they're usually hooligans. But in some cases, those hooligans, when they grow up a little, they actually turn out to be artists. So it's important to us in this city to be able to give these young hooligans who will someday be artists the opportunity to do graffiti as much as they would like, wherever they like, with any color paint they choose.
Absolutely fascinating. Now, somewhere in there between hooligans and artists, I think was lost the effect of gold flake enamel spray paint. Could you maybe talk about the effects of gold flake enamel spray paint on the modern hooligan/artist community?
It's funny you should say that because I was going to start off there next. In fact, gold flecked spray paint is the first type of spray paint that most hooligans choose. From a psychological perspective, it gives them a feeling like they have power, they have control.
Wow, again, fascinating. I never would have considered the psychological aspects of your common thug graffiti artist hooligan. With his gold flake paint and psychological trauma. Tell me, is there any actions that the city government is taking to either encourage these psychologically damaged hooligan spray paint artists, or to end this scourge once and for all?
Funny you should ask me that question because that's how I was going to tie this all up for you. In fact, there has been an initiative that we've created some warehouse space downtown where all of the...
I know he's terribly distracting, but he also has psychological issues. Just quite wondering about him. So there's a warehouse downtown where they're going to house all of the psychologically damaged hooligans. Okay,
We have received a grant to provide as much gold-flecked paint, spray paint,
okay,
that these young gentlemen to-be can use at their will. In addition to that, we've provided finger paints, we've provided clay to make modeling.
That's wonderful. You know, I myself have psychological issues. And I found that reenacting Patrick Swayze's ghost clay scene was very therapeutic. In no time, I was through my psychological trauma and a contributing member of society.
I could tell just by looking at you that you were once a hooligan who has turned into something else. What that is, we're still not quite sure, but here you are hosting a lovely public access show.
Oh, and speaking of that, well, that's all the time we have today. Maybe next week we'll delve further into the psychological trauma of the local graffiti artist community here in Tucson, but that's all the time we have. Thank you and good night.